Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Wow, I have an amazing upload to share with you guys today. Before we get into these encounters, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page a while back to help raise some money for urbex, cryptid hunting, and ghost hunting equipment. If that's anything that you're interested in helping with, that link is also in the description below. Now I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with these terrifying, yet true, encounters. Shall we? Today's first terrifying encounter. So this is one of those things that I remember almost as if it happened yesterday. I'm from Mexico, so you can guess there are a lot of folklore and legends from where I'm from. It happened years ago. I don't remember my age. I was probably 8 years old. I'm now 19. So as a kid, I was very scared of the paranormal, and I can recall a couple times something of that matter happening to me. But I have no proofs, only vivid memories. At that time, I had a friend who was my neighbor, and we were in the same grade. A couple of times I had stayed at their house, and even went on some travels. One time we went to a little village called Chalma that is known for being very religious and having religious migrations. I don't know if that's the correct term. So we usually went and prayed and then washed ourselves with the water from the ahuta, a kind of tree. Either way, on the road to the village, there's a fairly dense forest of pines, and being the shy person that I am, I usually just looked out the window. And then, after a couple of minutes, just watching the trees, I see this big black silhouette that is more than 2 meters, around 7 feet, I think. It had those red glowing eyes, and a canine form you'd expect from a werewolf. At first, I thought I was seeing things, so I just kept turning my head and checking my vision. As we were on the road, the car was going about 49 kilometers. But this thing made it like it wasn't going that fast. I kept watching it for 2 minutes, and then it turned its eyes to me, straight eye to eye. As soon as it does this, I reach for my friend and tell him to look. He said there was nothing, but when I looked back, there it was. This happened at least 3 times, and the third time it just disappeared. I didn't tell anyone about this for years. I just started recalling it. I thought it may have been a nagual or something like that. But because of absence of proof, I am aware that this could just be an imagination of a child. I'm kind of skeptical of this matter, though. Today's second terrifying encounter. 7 years ago, I was camping near my local town here in Mexico. I was part of a brigade of Boy Scouts, and I remember that one of our leaders invited us to explore the forest. After 30 minutes of looking for some wood, the leader gave us an alert that in front of us, an old man was doing something strange. This was weird because people weren't able to enter the forest after 8 p.m., so we were really confused about this presence. We were there because the leader reserved this place to give us a special badge. The badges are kind of different here in Mexico, so this one was about exploration, using camping material and teamwork. Anyway, after staring at the old man, he put himself in a crouch position. After 5 minutes, the old man disappeared, and the only thing that was in front of us was this big dog with blue eyes. We started running back to camp and telling the other kids what we had just witnessed. The oldest member of our brigade told us the story of the nagual. It's a Mexican legend that states that special persons can transform into certain animals with a specific purpose. Others say that they are lost spirits trying to search peace in the afterlife. That night, the leaders decided to move the tents to a little bunker up the hill. In the night, all the kids were paranoid about the event, so they decided that we were going to be safer in the little bunker. After that experience, the brigade decided that the exploration badge was going to be canceled for some time. Here's a brief history of naguals. In Mexico, there are many sightings of what people call naguals. Basically, it's a witch who makes a pact with evil in order to take any animal form they desire. The same as with the skinwalker. I found out some interesting things about the nagual, though if someone desires to become an animal, they must follow some rituals with strong concentration. They refer to this as amorphic practices. The rituals are found in black magic books, but be warned, once this is practiced, your soul is damned to hell. Women will often take the shape of a giant. I know it sounds funny, but they take the shape of a giant turkey, and if a baby isn't baptized, they will go and suck the baby's blood using their beak. Another way a nagual is born is when a witch kidnaps a newborn and takes it to the crossroads and lies it in the middle. She will have a few baby animals with her, whatever animal was born at the same day and hour as the infant. That animal will start licking the baby's entire body, thus a pact is made. After that, the human who is connected with the animal will transform even without wanting to. The only way to stop this is by killing the animal the person was given at birth. But after you kill it, you must skin it, and that person must wear the skin within 24 hours, or else the person will die as well. Some people also say in order to kill one, you must bless your bullets with some kind of special ritual. Another thing I heard is by carving a cross into the tip of your bullet and putting some banana peel in the carving of the bullet. Once you hit it with the bullet, the skin where the bullet hit will start to rot. Today's final encounter is a subscriber Sasquatch encounter. I grew up outside of a small town in Kansas called Wasatomi. Did all the typical boy things like hunting, fishing, camping, and spending time in the woods, building forts. So I loved spending time in the woods. In '85, I went into the Navy, and after boot camp, I was stationed in Mayport, Florida, just next to Jacksonville. I was about 19 or 20, and at a bar that me and some of my friends from our ship hung out at a lot. We all were close friends with the night manager, and we would watch the door and check for IDs for free drinks and escort the lady employees to their vehicles at night, because a few of them had problems with customers and tried to hit on them or beat them up. One night, Doug, the night manager, asked me to take Heaven home because her car was in the shop. It was about 11 at night. I said yes. Also, I was the designated driver for the night. I asked my friend Terry to go with me for the drive back. She lived about 20 miles west of Jacksonville in a small town. We all talked about different things and listened to the radio and what they call hair bands of the 80s. We arrived at her house and pulled into the driveway. After she got out, Terry got out and moved to the front passenger seat. After he got settled in the seat, I pulled out and we headed back towards Jacksonville. As soon as you get out of her town, there's nothing but a small 2-lane highway and woods on both sides. About 10 minutes into the drive, we're just listening to the radio. Terry wasn't really feeling good and dozed off. I said to myself, that's a good co-pilot, and laughed. So I'm just zoning out, listening to some good tunes and deep in my own thoughts. Slowly starting to notice a thick fog on both sides moving in. A little bit after that, I thought I saw something to the left side of the road. I flipped on my high beams, and that's when I saw it. About 7.5 to 8 feet tall, about 3 feet wide and covered with long, dark brown fur. Kind of looked like Chewbacca. But what was the amazing part about it It took 2 steps, and it was across the highway and went off into the woods on the other side. 1 step, it was on the yellow lines. The next step, it was off into the woods on the other side. I slammed on my brakes and screamed, "What was that?" Terry woke up like, what was going on? I said, "Dude, did you just see that huge hairy creature that walked in front of us on the highway?" He said, "No, I had my eyes closed." I said, "Man, whatever it was big and hairy. I think I just saw Bigfoot." He was like, "Let's get out of here." It took me a few minutes to settle down and continued to drive. I told Terry, I haven't been drinking tonight, so you can't say I had too many drinks and imagined it. I drove like a bat out of hell and didn't stop until we got back to the bar. Before we went in, I told Terry he could crash at my place because after all that, I needed a good stiff drink, maybe 4 or 5. We went back in and I sat down at the bar and was more quiet than normal. Doug could tell that there was something wrong with me. Doug said, "Hey, what's the matter?" I said, "First, make the strongest Long Island iced tea you can make and I'll tell you. And it's okay, Terry is going to drive to my house and crash there as well." Doug comes back in a couple of minutes with my Long Island iced tea. He only uses enough cola to give it a light brown tint. So I started telling Doug what had happened and what I saw. When I said I saw Bigfoot, some of the people around me believed me and some just laughed and said I had probably drank too much and just thought I saw it. Luckily, I had several friends that knew I didn't start drinking until I got back, that I hadn't had a drop of booze and backed me up. That in itself quieted the ones that were laughing at me, because they all knew I didn't lie and what I had seen, I must have been telling the truth. Lastly, since being in the military, I know firsthand that the government will cover anything they feel fit to do, and keep it a secret, no matter at what cost. So when I heard that the government was covering up these encounters, I knew without a shadow of a doubt the government has knowledge that Dogman and Bigfoot really do exist. Wow, I really enjoy the Nahual encounters. Mexican folklore stating that these things are like the Navajo skinwalker. Skinwalkers creep me the fuck out. I'm sorry for cursing if there's any kids listening. But these things fascinate me. They don't seem as malicious as a skinwalker. I'm almost apt to say that these are the Dogman. But the transformation. But Europeans, and there's been encounters of werewolves with a transformation wearing clothes. So who knows? Definitely cool cryptid. The subscriber Bigfoot encounter is just like I would expect a encounter with Bigfoot if I had one. Driving up north and all of a sudden just this humongous creature runs across the road. Knowing my luck, I'd probably clip it in the knee and have to get out, and then it would kill me. Just kidding. A couple months ago, I did an encounter about someone who had been camping in Saranac Lake, New York, and they had mentioned the Department of Environmental have a Bigfoot statue that they move around on a daily basis. I took a ride up there. It's about an hour north of my house, and I saw it. And they position it to where you have to look twice and almost a third time to realize that it's made of wood. It's very creepy. I also think this is pretty cool, is my local newspaper, and we're not like the Bat Boy newspaper, the Inquirer. It's an actual newspaper. Had a couple of encounters in print with Bigfoot, Fort Ann Whitehall region, about 30 to 45 minutes from where I live. It's really cool. I'm blessed to live in upstate New York. A lot of people, when they hear New York, think the city or think West New York, like Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester. I am directly north of the city, and we have a mountain range called the Adirondacks, which is absolutely gorgeous and huge, and a perfect place for these creatures to hide out. Google it and check it out. Check out the Adirondack Park Bigfoot encounters. I guarantee some stuff will come up. And with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed these encounters as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. And with that, I bid you farewell.